Powered by Riverside.
Welcome, everyone, to another episode of Who is Kyle Graham podcast. Of course, look no further, I am Kyle Graham, and thank you for joining me this week. As always, you know what I'm going to ask you to do, and those who don't know, if you're watching on any of these platforms of YouTube, Spotify, Amazon Music, Apple Podcasts, Deezer, iHeartRadio, Who is Kyle Graham podcast.riverside.com. Press the subscribe button and get notifications for brand new episodes of Who is Kyle Graham. It's really simple. Click, subscribe, get the notifications, and also let everyone know about Who is Kyle Graham podcast. Any comments or anything on that platform, put the comments in. Get at me on Instagram. Get at me at Facebook. Email me at whoiskylegraham@gmail.com. Easy? Of course. All right, so before I get started, I hate to start on a sour note, but in the news this week, we had two deaths in the industry. One was 36-year-old Hayden Panettiere, who you may know from Heroes, Nashville, and Remember the Titans. I think it was the first time I ever saw her. She sadly passed away at the age of 36. Now, I'm not too sure as of right now what the disclosures of her death, but 36 years old, too young, very talented. I know she was, from what I've read, has some issues and so forth. She leaves behind a young daughter, if I'm correct. So sad to hear that. My condolences to her family, friends, and fans of hers. But, you know, her spirit and her life lives on through her daughter and through the wonderful TV shows and movies she has made. So condolences to Hayden Panettiere. Also, just recently, we lost, I feel as though one of the legends in the game, Michael Wright, age 70, who was part of the 5 Heartbeat, Oz, Sugar Hill, V, the TV show. He's been around for a lot of years. Money Talks, I can go on and on and on. He passed away age 70, I believe on the 19th. One of my favorite actors who should have been nominated for Eddie King Jr., in the 5 Heartbeats, a movie that should have been nominated years ago, written, directed by the very talented legend, Robert Townsend. We're not going to get into that why, but it should have. He just playing Eddie Kane, which is loosely based on the Temptations. The whole thing loosely based on the Temptations and their falling out and so forth. And he did his thing in there. You know, when he was strung out and he got through security, like, da-da, had the old suit on, and he tried to sing, like this, it was heartbreaking, and he kind of chuckled, like, oh my God, but it was just a performance that he put into that. And in movies like Sugar Hill, along with Wesley Snipes, and this is the flavor we save up here, neighbor, like lines that we all know. And then, of course, the other scene, Two African Gentlemen, and I can't, I better not say that scene here. I don't want to offend anybody. But if you ever seen Sugar Hill, there's a scene with Wesley Snipes, two African gentlemen, they say something I ain't going to repeat on here, and then it was just very interesting, Those who see the movie, you know what I'm talking about. But condolences also to his family, friends, and fans. His movies, television shows lives on forever to go back and watch. I haven't seen Sugar Hill in a long time. It's one of those films that I discuss with my best friend Mike. We always say, like, these films that are old, you try to look it up, and you end up got to pay like $2, $4, $5 or more. I'm like, they're old. It should be free. It should be accessible to get. You know what I mean? So I haven't seen Sugar Hill in a while. Hopefully, me mentioning Sugar Hill will put it out there, the algorithms, and it'll pop up one day on cable, and I get to watch it because I haven't seen that film in a long time. Same with 5 Heartbeats. I haven't seen 5 Heartbeats in a minute. But Michael Wright, if you haven't seen Sugar Hill, you haven't seen The Five Heartbeats, you haven't watched the show Oz, he's in the last couple of seasons of Oz, or a lot of countless other things. Great actor who never really got his balloons when he was here. Definitely, like, again, playing Eddie Kane Jr. That was just like he really did his thing. So I don't. When you see someone, especially that you go up watching, and you realize that you're getting older, also. When you see them like move on and pass on, I'm like, man, I remember watching them when I was this age, and it takes you back at a time on where you were, and what TV show, and so forth and so on. So, yeah, condolences. So I hate to start off on a sour note, but I had to give the balloons to these people, great actors and in their own right. And, even I still think at the age of 70, you're still going too soon. Because, age is just a number. You feel good. It's just, nowadays, it's just like, man, that's still going too soon. Because I know people that are older than that who's moving and doing great. So I still think 70 is young. You know what I mean? It's like young, not yet. You're not there yet. You know what I mean? You still got a lot of life left in you. You know what I'm saying? So it goes back to just because you're a certain age don't mean that things are over with. Like, you hang things up, you're done. You just don't move on, or you don't continue with life. But definitely, it's a sad loss. Great actors between Hayden Panettiere and Michael Wright. Again, condolences. Their legacy lives on through their family, through their films, and television shows. All right, let's move on. Let's see what else I got into. Now, normally, like I said, I normally would have a topic. This week I don't. Nothing hit me at the last minute to have a topic. So it's just like, let me talk to you, and let's discuss what's going on in the world of sports and entertainment. Let me see. Let me pull it up here. Can't find my mouse here for a minute. Let me see. Let me adjust this real quick. All right. Got something for you. Here we go. So Xzibit, the rapper Xzibit, says he and his ex-wife settled child support and custody issues. Exhibit says he and his ex-wife have finally come to an agreement on issues involving property and their child. My screen was messing up. Sorry, y'all. Meaning their year-long legal drama may soon be finished, but he still got an axe to grind over how she and her lawyer handled the case. The rapper filed a document earlier this month and checked off boxes indicating he and Krista Joyner have come to an agreement regarding property issues, child custody and visitation, and child support. The former couple shared a son, Gaitlin, who was born in 2010. Despite reaching a deal on these issues, Xzibit also filed documents claiming he spent $1.6 million in attorney fees and costs over the last 5 years litigating the case, which includes around $400K in attorney fees. He said he's paid for Krista lawyers. He claims Krista and her lawyers engaged in, quote, scorched earth tactics that delayed settlement and ran up the cost of the case. Xzibit asked a judge to hit Krista with at least $200K in sanctions to punish her for how she litigated the case, which he believes was an effort to, quote, wreak havoc, harass, and intimidate him. I get it out, y'all. Quote, the stories broke. Xzibit wife filed for divorce back in 2021. The two had reportedly been together for 2 decades up to that point, though they were only married for about 6 years. Fast forward to 2025, when Xzibit filed docs asking the judge to declare him legally single while the estranged couple hashed out property, custody, and other issues. The court granted his request, and now it looks like the Xzibit and Krista work out the remaining issues to finally put the marriage behind them. Damn, 1.6 million. Good Lord. That's crazy. God dang. And just like it probably like cost them like maybe 10 G's to marry her. 5 to 10 G's to marry her. and 1.2 million to get rid of her. That's some shit right there. That's crazy. That's why they say it's cheaper to keep her. Because that is bananas. You're paying for her fees, your fees, you know what I mean? And between fees, whatever fees, there's fees to be paid. $1.2 million. My God, within 5 years. And the ceremony to get married probably took like a half hour or something like that. You know what I mean? Like 30 minutes, probably 5 to 10 G's for an elaborate, like, wedding, reception. 1.6 million in 5 years to end this shit. That is crazy. That is crazy. I guess you gotta do what you gotta do. You ain't getting along, it's like, all right, I gotta get rid of you somehow, some way, and this is the way to do it. 1.6 million he paid in fees. So I don't blame him. He wants some of that back. You know what I mean? And thankfully they were able to settle the dispute and work out property and custody and all that stuff. So that's good to hear. You know what I mean? That's good to hear and good to know that they are selling shit like that. And I know he probably thinking, man, I wish we could have did this sooner than later. And it take like 5 years to do it. 1.2 million. My God. My man gonna be hitting the road real soon to recoup that shit. Cause that is crazy. That is crazy. And I always wondered why, maybe in different states, but I know in California, maybe in other states too, but I know that when you're divorcing, the husband have to cover the attorney fees, which I don't understand, like both attorney fees. I never understood that. I don't know if that's everywhere. I don't know if that's just certain states. I may be getting that wrong. But every time I would read something about a celebrity getting a divorce, the husband, or maybe any husband per se, let me correct that, any husband per se, they only cover their fees, their attorney fees, and their spouse's attorney fees. I wonder why. Is it because they asked for the divorce? I don't know. Somebody hit me up in the comments. Let me know what you think. You know what I mean? Let me know if I'm wrong. I'm not a lawyer. I'm just a simple, handsome podcast host. So I don't know. I couldn't tell you. I'm just throwing that out there. Maybe you guys know. Y'all could just hit me up and drop some knowledge on me or something. Because I always find that kind of very interesting. All right, moving on. Lionel Richie takes dig at Chris Brown and Usher R&B tour, says the Commodores didn't go to jail. Brown responded to Richie's onstage rant about R&B tour in an Instagram comment referring to 3 times the lady singer as Paw Paw. The 3 times the lady singer, 77, performed the show with Earth, Wind, and Fire at the Mortgage Matchup Center in Phoenix on Tuesday, August 11th, and took a dig at Chris Brown and Usher ongoing R&B tour while talking to the crowd. Usher and Chris Brown, quote, Usher and Chris Brown, see, they trying to do something new, said Richie, according to videos of the moment. The Commodores with Earth, Wind, and Fire were doing that back 40 years ago. Only difference is between then and now, we didn't go to jail. Brown has a history of legal troubles. In May 2014, he spent 131 days in Los Angeles County jail for violating terms of his probation which stemmed from 2009 felony conviction of assaulting his then-girlfriend Rihanna. He's since faced several other assault allegations. Usher has never been to jail. Immediately after Richie's jail comment, Rock and Roll Hall of Fame member apologized to the crowd and added of Brown and Usher, they're fine Christian men. He added on stage, see, we didn't have that Instagram and that TikTok and that go out and tell a lie and then go post it. What the hell was that? Brown responded to Richie's comment with a few crying, laughing emojis. He wrote, "Damn, Unc, we love you, Paul." And an Instagram post last month, Usher explained the ethos behind R&B tour. This isn't just a story of R&B, it's our story, he said. The blues come from what we've lived. The rhythm is what keeps us connected generation after generation. The R&B tour launched in June and continues with North American stadium dates through December. Richie tour with Earth, Wind & Fire continues with North American arena dates through October. The Hello singer will then perform a string of residency shows at the Wynn in Las Vegas through November. Well, look, it goes to a couple of things that I've spoken about on the show, right? Now, is it jealousy or is it an opinion, right? Is it jealousy or is it an opinion? You know what I mean? Like, why would he say it? He has a right to say what he wants. Everybody has a right to say what they want to say. What does it stem under, folks? Is it he's jealous of the young cats? Or he just making a statement, making a comment, giving his opinion? What do I think? That's what you're wondering. I don't know. I may say it's his opinion. I don't think it's jealousy. He has nothing to be jealous about. The man's a Hall of Famer. The man wrote countless hits and been there, done that 3 times over. He from the Commodores till now, the man is just one of the greatest entertainers, one of the greatest singers and writers in history. Was it out of line? I think it might have been out of line. There was no need to say that. I mean, feel how you want to feel, but be prepared to get a backlash when you make comments like that. You know, difference is they went to jail and you may feel that way, and you might say it privately behind closed doors to family and friends, you know, like in the stage, like you said, of Instagram and Facebook and all TikTok and all that stuff. Things get around fast. And you might admit as just maybe taking a friendly shot or just, you know, just trying to be funny. But, you know, people going to take it how they're going to take it. And Chris Brown probably laughed it all, call you Paul, damn, you know, Paul, whatever. And they're saying that you're old. Again, the ageism thing. You know, like, granted, well, yeah, Usher never been to jail. Chris Brown's, you know, been doing the wild thing with the law for a lot of years. So that's true, but I don't think it's worth a comment at the end of the day. We all know what he did. We all know what he's been through and so forth. You give a tip of the cap saying, yo, they're doing their thing. Like, these young cats out here, they're doing it. You know, Usher doing this thing, Chris Brown doing this thing. Whoever else, R&B-wise or music-wise, doing their thing, they're keeping it going. They're making that money. It's enough money to be made for everyone. So the comment wasn't necessary. You know what I mean? Again, you say what you want to say, feel what you want to feel, but prepare for the backlash. And the comment just wasn't necessary at the end of the day. Now, this reminds me, I finally saw the movie Michael. Great movie. It was dope. I didn't understand why people were complaining that, oh, they didn't show this, and this. Well, clearly at the end, it tells you the story continues. Like, we all know what else happens. We know they can't put everything in a 2-hour film. It's a great film. And going back to what I said last week when they said Envy said Chris Brown, in his opinion, is the greatest entertainer. And yeah, it's his opinion. I still, like I said, I will put Michael there, not because of the entertainment part, it's the fans' reaction. When you can show me Chris Brown fans that faint, get water dumped on them, they got to remove them from the concert because they fainted and all that globally, then I'm like, yeah, he got that. It's not more about the entertainment, it's the fans' reaction. And my man, and he showed it in the film, and if you go back in YouTube, Michael Jackson concerts, you will see grown men crying because they see Michael Jackson. Grown men, women crying, fainting, being carried out. He looks at them and point the finger, the women just dropping, fainting, got buckets of water. This is real. It's not exaggeration. You can Google it, see for yourself. You know, but I'm not gonna knock. I'm happy to see that Usher and Brown and others are out there doing their thing. Make that money, man. Perform, have fun. In this day and time, like I always said, go to the concert, clear your mind of all your problems, and enjoy the time. You know, you get called up on stage. Don't be a bitch about it. Be in the moment. Enjoy Usher. You know what I mean? Might not be Chris Brown, but hey, you're on stage. They gotta be snooty about it. Y'all know what I'm talking about. So, look, it wasn't warranted. Anyway, moving on from Unc disrespecting the young people. Unc, or as Chris Brown called him, Paul. I find it kind of funny, Paul. Call you old people. Call him Paul. Timbaland dragged to court by DJ over alleged nepotism. Timbaland is being dragged to court by a DJ who claims he was fired from the Timbaland and Missy Elliott tour shortly before it was scheduled to start, and the DJ says he believes nepotism is at play. TMZ obtained the lawsuit filed by DJ Feezy. Yeah, I changed that name, homie. DJ Feezy, Feezy, against Timbaland and his company, Mosley Touring, and he claims that he was fired to clear the way for Timbaland's son to replace him. The DJ said he was invited in 2024 to perform as a DJ for the Timbaland / Missy Elliott tour scheduled to take place between July 2024 and August 2024. Per the deal, the DJ was to be paid $4,000 per show for a total of $120,000 over the course of the tour. He said he obtained work. He retained a work visa to visit Canada, pay some legal fees to do so, turned down other gigs, and practice the set list. He said he was terminated less than 30 days before the tour was to start, and he believes he was replaced by Timbaland's son. He said a settlement was worked out, but Timbaland didn't follow through with the deal. He said he suffered damages totaling $130,000, including the money he would have earned from the tour, plus, here we go, legal fees he incurred in obtaining the work visa. Timbaland denied the allegation and asked for the complaint to be thrown out, arguing there was no enforceable deal on the terms alleged in the complaint. The music producer also filed a complaint against the former manager who Timbaland claimed handled all dealings with the DJ. Timbaland says if anyone's liable to the DJ, it would be the former manager. Here's the thing. Is anything written down anymore? Is there any type of paperwork that shows like a contract, and within that contract it will have the fine print of either we can let you go at any time, or if we do let you go, we will give you a notice and pay off all whatever. It comes down to, in my opinion, I'm not a lawyer, just like I'm not a doctor. I believe it comes down to whether or not it's in black and white. If that's true. You dig what I'm saying? So it's there black and white paper stating, that you are hired to do this, okay? And then we have to right to release you at any time for any reason. Usually, a lot of that is written down in a legal document. They can release you. They can evict you. They can do whatever. Whenever they feel, when all this is written down, you either agree to it or not. So I wonder if there's a document, a contract that states either they can or doesn't state it at all, or something of the two. I'm kind of curious about that. Now, if that was true, and then he did fire him to bring on his kid and so forth, that was wrong. You know what I mean? Like, that was wrong. This man allegedly paid a lot to be a part of the show. He paid a lot to get a visa and all this stuff. He paid a lot. And if to be let go 30 days out for allegedly there for no reason, that's messed up. Now, as I always say, those who are new to the show, what I always say is his side, Timbaland's side, somewhere in the middle, everyone, is the truth. So there's something there. And Timbaland said, hey, the manager who hired this cat, he's responsible for everything. Not me. He hired them. He should be X, Y, and Z. I still think at the end of the day, I really think that I think paperwork is the key to it all. I really do. I really do think the paperwork is key, and whatever's written down. I think I have a hard time doing a he said, she said type situation compared to paperwork. Because if I'm going to do a job for someone, a concert, I'm getting paid a lot of money, and you're offering it to me, I want it in writing. I want a lawyer to look it over. I want a notarize, do the whole nine to protect me on the back end. Read the fine print, understand anything legal, get professional eyes to look at it, legal eyes. So anyone going forward, young DJs, rap, anybody with a contract, someone off your contract, get someone with legal eyes who understand the law, read the fine print, explain it to you, because it could have been some fine print in there if that's written down in the contract that they have the right to dismiss you or get rid of you at any time for whatever reason. Either they'll pay you or they won't pay you for the time you served or money spent. It has to be, something has to be written down. For the amount of money that they're willing to pay him, you can't tell me there's nothing written down. That's hard to believe. So there has to be something stated in the paperwork. Has to be. Nepotism part. That's messed up, but I get it. Would I have done it to let my own kid? No, I would. I'm guilty. I've just been like, all right, hey, well, you can do that. Go to bum out. Bring my kid in. I'm guilty as charged. But I probably would have did the same thing. If that's true. Yeah. So don't look at me like that. Don't even look at me like that. So if you're a parent and your child has the same skill set and maybe even better, and you're like, put my kid on, and that kid can make some cash, you ain't gonna tell me you ain't gonna might not give this cat a 30-day notice and be like, and just slide in your niece, your nephew, your cousin, your son, your daughter, your brother. You know what I mean? Like, yo, you wouldn't do that? Yeah, don't look at me. You don't give me the dirty looks, because you know you would have. Because I know I would be. I would. You would too. You got kids. Definitely your kids. You would. You know what I mean? I'd be a little bit more tactful. I might hit them off with a stack or something, and just like, hey, good luck in your future endeavor, whatever. Unless, again, it's the manager's fault. Or, again, something's written on the piece of paper stating, like, we're not liable if we let you go at any time. So, again, it comes down to the paperwork. But I will be guilty if that's true. As a parent, I'll raise my hand. Definitely. She'd be scritching and scratching. Yes. And she's making money. Yes. And you would too. Don't look at me like that. All right, moving on. Staying with lawsuits, C+C Music Factory co-founder Robert Clivilles, sues Freedom Williams. Whatever fallout came as a result of the canceled Freedom 250 concert on the National Mall in Washington this summer, we can add a lawsuit that otherwise might not have happened. One prominent figure in the D.C. controversy, Freedom Williams, who made newsmaking statements in his role as a frontman for the touring edition of C+C Music Factory, has been sued by the act's surviving co-founder Robert Clivilles in the wake of the political fracas. The core issues of the lawsuit are unrelated to what happened with the Trump-related concert pullouts and cancellations, but Clivilles makes it clear in his lawsuit that a contentious, profanity-filled video Williams published on social media in the midst of the controversy was a last straw when it came to pushing him to file suit over the risks that go back 3 decades or more. Clivilles is acting as his own attorney in the suit, which was filed August 14th in Eastern District of New York in United States District Court. He charges Williams with defamation, fraud, trademark infringement, fraud, unfair competition, and breach of contract, among other ills and acts of cancellation of the trademark Williams now hold, as well as compensatory and punitive damages adding up to $30 million. Clivilles, I might be saying his name wrong, but forgive me, have been warning of his intention to sue Williams for weeks. On Sunday, he posted on social media a video filmed by a process server delivering papers to a figure identified as Williams, who initially keeps walking down the sidewalk as the server drops the paperwork on the ground before finally agreeing to accept the documents. Williams' face is not seen in the footage. The recent video posted by Williams amid the Trump/Freedom 250 controversy comes full description on May 29, 2026. The suit says Williams posted a 7-minute video to the official C+C Music Factory account, which he controls through the fraudulent trademark claims filmed while sitting on a toilet in the video. Williams made statements invoking Adolf Hitler, used repeat racial slurs, and directed vulgar and sexually degrading languages at members of the public. Plaintiff Robert Clivilles, I'm saying his name wrong, has no warning of and no input into these statements and was forced to launch a competing official C+C Music Factory Instagram account to publicly disavow Williams' conduct. Clivilles writes that he issued a public legal warning at the time for Williams to stop representing himself with the group name, but rather than back off. Williams allegedly doubled down on June 12th by using a new single, Into the Future, under the C+C Music Factory name. Wow. Now, throughout the suit, Clivilles makes a point in the suit of reaffirming that the letters of F or W do not appear in C+C, and that he and the late David Cole, who died in 95, were the sole members of the outfit, which broke through in 1990 with the #1 smash hit, Gonna Make You Sweat. After a ride, ooh. Anyway, music is my life. So I just started grooving. Everybody did. Anyway, so that succeeded the following year with Here We Go, Let's Rock and Roll, things that make you go, Williams was listed as a featured artist on all 3 of those singles alongside vocalist Martha Wash and Zelma Davis, who also got featured credit in it. It is Clivilles' contention that giving Williams and the others featured billing was a way of marketing them as guests as opposed to group members as in common pop music. Clivilles telling Williams had a production contract with him and Cole, but in mid-1991, around the time Things That Make You Go Home was released, Williams demanded his release from the 1990 agreement, stating he did not want to be associated with C+C Music Factory or with Clivilles and Cole's enterprises going forward. He immediately stopped touring with the group. Sony Music negotiated his release and signed him to a full-length multi-album solo deal. Williams' first and only solo album fared poorly commercially. C+C Music Factory continued without Williams. Clivilles and Cole released 2 more albums and several singles before Cole died in January of 1995. And it goes on again about the trademark and so forth. I'm sure you guys remember C+C Music Factory. If not, Google it. And I remember Freedom Williams. He was like the buff dude with the long ponytail. Come on, make you sweat. And he do all that shit. I didn't know none of this. I didn't know that he hijacked the name and took it over. And I remember who C+C was. It was Coles and Clivilles. Excuse me if I got his last name wrong. And I remember him listed Freedom Williams as just an artist, not part of the creator of the group. And so it goes on how he lifted the trademark and all that stuff. And I'm not going to bore you with the details because it goes on about that. So in my opinion, I think how he probably got it, and it says here, it was just left open. And the registry is wide open. You swoop in, you can grab it. So he swooped in and grabbed it using the name, performances, and all that. And Robert Clivilles, the remaining living member, is like, you can't be making money off that name. You wasn't even part of the group, and then you making it part of the Trump administration, and you seeing racial stuff and sexual stuff and sitting on the toilet, all that crazy shit, and you disparaging and shitting on the name, literally, kind of. And just damaging the name of C+C Music Factory, which you can still hear some of their music in a lot of commercials and movies and and TikTok and things like that. And it's definitely part of the early 90s, man. I want to make you sweat, things to make you go, which came from Arsenio Hall. Hopefully Arsenio got a little bit of little bit of chatter with that. That's where that came from, because Arsenio Hall show in the 90s, he would have a bit like things that make you go, and he'll say something funny, like, damn, that do make you go, And C+C Music Factory, made it to a song. I think they performed it on the show also. So I wonder if he got a little piece of that, because that is technically, that's his creation, things that make you go, and they just made a song out of it. The trademark thing, man, it's crazy. It comes down to documents, paper, man, the timeline, and all that stuff. So this might continue to be an ongoing battle, trying to clear that name and not keep it associated with Freedom Williams, but with Robert Clivilles. I'm sorry if I'm getting his last name wrong. I sincerely apologize. And I get that and understand that. And people hijacking something that you created, using that name for profit, or kind of just making comments that are something that you don't agree with, but you have the name that you started connected to it. That's not cool. That's not good. So hopefully they can clear that up somehow, some way. He can get the name back. He'll drop the name. But I think with anything, with a lot of legal law stuff, it comes down to paperwork, dates and times, and who did what when. It comes down to paper, signed paper. He said. It's not going to fly. You go into a court of law, they want to see documents. Any lawyer, any good lawyer, not a criminal lawyer, would definitely know, like, hey, you got documents? What's the documents? What's the dates? It says he went for the trademark this time. The trademark, fell through here. He got it. It's his until whatever. That is the key thing, in my opinion. I think that's how it's going to get solved. It's paperwork. Anything in terms of trademark or contracts, this is like with DJ Freezy, with Timbaland, it comes down to the black and white, man. What's on paper. It's printed on paper, and the dates and all that stuff. That's what I think it comes down to. Because you can't be in court, he said, she said, because that's hard to judge that. Anyone can say anything. But if you got the paperwork to back up what you're saying, have the dates, they're going to have to side with what's in front of them, what the date says, what the document says, and that's how they're going to decide whether he's going to get the name back and Freedom should stop using it and so forth. Unless they come to an understanding where it's like, all right, we can work together on it, or I get a piece of it while you're doing something. But the paper is key. Having on paper, that's a key thing. Showing that piece of paper, it backs up what they're saying, it helps. It really it helps a lot. So we'll see as time goes on. And of course, I'll be here to let you know what the goings on when it comes down to C+C Music Factory or Freedom gonna walk away with it. You know what I'm saying? So we'll see. We will see. What else? Let me see what I got for y'all. Let me talk to you. LL Cool J, Lil Kim, and more to perform at 2026 Rock the Bells Festival. Sound like a great lineup. Rock the Bells Festival is set to bring a new crew of hip-hop legends home for the holidays this year. On Monday, August 17th, Rock the Bells and Black Promoters Collective announced the lineup for its third annual music festival ahead of its return to the Prudential Center in Newark, New Jersey during Thanksgiving weekend. LL Cool J will headline once again, share the stage with fellow legends like Lil Kim, Method Man, Redman, The Funk Doctor, SWV, D-Nice, who also curate a special set featuring LaToya Luckett, David Banner, and The Lox, Jadakiss, Styles P, and Sheek Loach. God damn, that's a show. Core hip-hop has shaped the world for more than 5 decades. The Rock the Bells exists to honor the people who made that history and keep the culture moving forward. LL Cool J said in a statement, "There's something special about seeing artists and fans from different generations coming together under one roof, bringing that energy back to Newark over Thanksgiving weekend feels right. We're going to celebrate music, show love to the community, and close out Hip Hop History Month together. More acts are expected to be announced before the show goes down on November 29th. Last year, Philly's own Freeway, Beanie Siegel, PD Crack, Oshino, Vasquez, Emilio Sparks, and Young Guns reunited on stage at State Property, while Capone and Noriega ditched the podcast mics to deliver classic bangers from Capone and Noriega's extensive catalog. Bust a Bus, Big Daddy Kane, Boozy Badass, Eric B. and Rock Kim, Fabulous, Lil Mo, Plies, Remy Ma, Roxanne Shante, Scarface, Too Short, Keras One, and others also hit the stage. That's a great lineup. One of these names do not belong here. One of these names is not the same. Can you tell me, everyone, who I'm talking about? Now it's time to play this game. It's time to play this game. Which one of these names that I'm going to read out to you does not belong in this legendary lineup? Okay. Busta Rhymes. Big Daddy Kane. Eric B. and Rakim. Fabulous. Lil Mo. Plies. Remy Ma. Roxanne Shante. Scarface. Too Short. Keras One. Boozy Badass. Ding, 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 ding. Boozy Badass is not long hair. Get rid of him. He shouldn't be longer. That's like the lull of the show. Like right there, you lost me. Everybody else is strong. Boozy Badass, I don't belong there. You need legends. He ain't no legend. These are legends and icons. Sorry, Boozy. Love your name, but not in this lineup. Anyway, dig the move. Yo, great lineup for this year, Thanksgiving, November 29th. You got the Funk Dr. Spock, Method Man. You got Lil Kim. Like, yo, LL Cool J, the living legend, doing his thing. SWV singing their hearts out. LaToya Luckett. David Banner doing his thing. Representing down south, D-Nice. My name is D-Nice, one of the greatest DJs on the planet. And of course, you got the Locks with Jada, Styles, Chic Lo. Oh, man, that's going to be a crazy, crazy concert. Oh, man, that, and I'm sure the price is probably bananas. But you get what you pay for in that lineup, and there should be more to be joined on that stage. That's dope. Now, that's good music, man. You go there, Thanksgiving Day weekend, Thanksgiving night, whatever, bust a grub, go jamming. You know what I mean? That should be a lot of fun. That should be dope. That weekend, you come home, it's that Thanksgiving Day weekend. That, man, that's just nothing but pure fun. Hit this nostalgia. The greatest drug in the world is nostalgia. That's the greatest drug. The greatest drug is nostalgia. We love nostalgia. We all love it. Now, one person out there, I don't like nostalgia. No, you love nostalgia. We all dig nostalgia. That's what we do. We sit back with something, a smell, a voice, a word, and we look back like, yeah, I remember that. And you just like, man, you sit back, you talk to your family, friends, and just, that's the greatest drug, man. You can't get away from nostalgia. Nostalgia is dope. Nostalgia helps you. It gets you through stuff. It helps you, believe it or not, nostalgia can help you figure out a problem. You know what I mean? Because it's like, I've been through this before, or something seems familiar about this. And you go back like, yo, I remember, yeah, we got through it that way. You just tweak it a little bit. But that's the greatest drug, in my opinion. It's nostalgia. You dig? Like that is just, you can't get away from it. And I love it. I talk all the time with my friends. We laughing. Because sometimes today's shit is a pain in the ass. And you be like, man, remember that time, blah, 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 blah. You laughing, you having a good time. You just look back with fondness. It's fun. And it is good. Of course, when you make new memories, that's going to be nostalgia down the line. That's going to be, new nostalgia. You know what I mean? Like, oh, we did something this week. Next week you do something else. You look back at this week. That's still nostalgia. That's still looking back in the past with fondness. And definitely if it's a lot of fun. But man, that show something like it's gonna be fun, man. Whoever goes, enjoy. And they picked the perfect time. Thanksgiving Day weekend, people are home from college, and just have fun, man. It's a holiday weekend, and it's just a way to end it off. You do your thing. You know what I mean? I think. Let me see something here. So he said November 29th. So according to my calendar, all right. So the 29th is on a Sunday. So that's the end of Thanksgiving weekend. So you go to work the next day, and go to work the next day. Yo, how was Thanksgiving? Man, I was at the concert. You might even go in the next. You might even go in that Monday. That concert in late. You ain't going in Monday. You going in December 1st. You ain't going to November 30th. You going to December 1st. You might as well just call out when you put in for your Thanksgiving Day holiday weekend. Just make sure you just don't come back until December 1st, because you going to that concert. You're not coming. You're not getting back there 9 o'clock on November 30th. You're coming in December 1st. In the morning, because you got to rest up after dealing with family and shit from Wednesday, Thanksgiving Day Eve, or maybe that Tuesday through the weekend, and you go to that concert Sunday night. You're gonna be having a ball and be full of nostalgia. You get home, you might fuck that job. I'll see you on Tuesday. See you December 1st. So my advice to you going to the concert. Don't go to work on the 30th. Go on first. I'm trying to help you out, because you ain't gonna feel like it. And here's the thing: dig the move, right? Dig the move. You don't have to think about, oh man, I hope so hurry up. I gotta get up in the morning. If you take it off ahead of time, you ain't gotta worry about going the next day. You like, I ain't gotta go back to that motherfucking job to the first. You ain't gotta worry about getting up. You be like, yo, take your time getting to the stage. Take your time. I'm off tomorrow. So keep that in mind. Y'all want to go. Take off the 30th. Just do that. Take it from me. It'll work. And you'll enjoy yourself. That's good old school music with SWV, man, singing. You got a mix of everything. LL Cool J doing this thing. Lil Kim, Meth, Red. Others to come. Jada Kids, David Banner. You know what I mean? LaToya Luck. You got a mixture of everything. Trust me, you guys are going to have a great time. All right, let's see. Got a bit of a Biggie double bubble in that last. Let me do this one. So, Different Strokes star Todd Bridges says Cass got hate mail over interracial friendships. Todd Bridges says Different Strokes may be remembered as beloved sitcom today, but some viewers weren't exactly welcoming when the show first hit television. During a recent interview, Bridges recalled that the NBC series received racist hate mail over its depiction, I get it out y'all, of a white father raising two black children and the relationship between its black and white characters. According to the actor who played Willis Jackson, the backlash came from viewers on both sides of the racial divide. Quote, back then, we got hate mail from both sides, Bridges said. We got hate mail from whites, we got hate mails from black. Bridges recalls some black viewers objecting to see him embrace a white man, while some white viewers were upset by the same scenes for the opposite reason. But he said the reaction didn't last as audience began connecting with Different Strokes was actually trying to say. After like I said, a couple of months, everyone fell in love with the show. Bridges said they realized that it's about love. It's not about anything else. It's about caring for people and about acceptance. Premiering in 1978, Different Strokes centered on brothers Willis and Arnold Jackson, played by Todd Bridges, and Gary Coleman, who was taken in by wealthy businessman Philip Drummond, played by Conrad Bain after their mother's death. Dana Plateau played Drummond's daughter Kimberly. The series ran for 8 seasons and became a major television hit, while also launching The Facts of Life, which lasted 9 seasons. Bridges, now 61, said Willis wasn't particularly close to his own personality, although pieces of him made their way into the character. I guess what I brought to Willis was just him being, cool and sweet, he said. The actor's memories of the show early backlash also connected to experiences he had off camera. In 2025, Bridges said becoming famous as a teenager didn't insulate him from racism. While he remembered San Francisco as a place where his family felt comfortable, he said things changed after they moved to Southern California. Bridges recalled his family attempted to buy a house in Culver City after his mother, actress Betty A. Bridges, initially spoke with the seller over the phone. According to Bridges, everything appeared settled until his black family arrived in person. Quote, they see all these black people with big afros, he recalled, and they were like, oh no, we don't have any houses for sale here for anymore. Bridges said his mother ultimately had a white friend step in to help secure the property. It was hard to handle as a kid, but being famous and still dealing with that, he said. I'm not surprised at the end of the day. It's messed up and it's sad that, at the end of the day, I like what he said. The show it was about love. You just happen to have a Caucasian man who decided to raise his housekeeper's kids out of the love and respect he had for her. It ain't about they was black or whatever. It just so happened she was black. Can't help it. Can't help what race we are, what color or creed. We can't help that. And it just so happens. Would it made a difference if she was Asian or Hispanic or already white or Irish, Italian or whatever? It just so happened. And it was about adapting to him and his daughter adapting to them and coming from different backgrounds. But at the end of the day, the center of it, outside of skin color, was love. It was just, I love you, I care, I don't care what you look like. And it shouldn't matter. As cheesy it may sound, it's true. And it shouldn't, look, what I don't understand when white people are like, I don't want to move in my neighborhood. But, like, the seller, I can't sell you no house. Like, dude, they got money. Money be green. You know what I mean? Like, get the cash. Fuck what they look like. The money's legit. They're paying you. This is your business. Why lose money because you have a thing about how they look? They cool. They come up to you. They're respectful. They're being professional. They have money. Moolah. The dollar. The currency. Take the money and keep it moving. It incenses me when I hear stories like that or see stories like that till this day in 2026, where it's like, what they do to you because they look different, because they have a certain lifestyle, whatever. Why cut your nose to spite your face because you don't want them to buy your product or whatever? And that happened. I've been going on for years. Where I don't want no black person buy. I'm like, why? They got money. Make money. Forget what they look like. I don't want no black buying tickets to come in. They got money, fool. Take that money. I don't care. They have one eye in the middle of their head. And they got one arm. I don't give a fuck. They got money. Currency. Come in and enjoy the show. Come by this house. Thank you. I'm putting my kids through school or whatever the case may be. I never understood that. And like I said, fame doesn't block you from racism or sexism. Hate is hate, unfortunately. It's stupid. It is. They hate you so much because of your skin color. They hate you so much because you certain lifestyle. And it's like, but you don't know me. I haven't done nothing. I haven't done nothing to you. You know what I mean? Like, I haven't done anything to you. I haven't, whatever. So I don't understand that. I don't get it. And we came a long way, but we still have ways to go. We do. When I first saw Different Stories as a kid, I don't being crazy as it sounds, I never cared about the colors. I just thought Arnold was funny. Yeah, hey, a little boy like me. He's funny. I want to be funny like him. He got everybody laughing. I want to be funny like Arnold. And he got a cool big brother, which I had a cool big brother. Like that's why I didn't think, but I never, going back to memory, I never thought about it. I was just like, yo, I want a cool big brother like him. I want to be as funny as him. He makes everybody laugh and everybody like that's what I thought about. It didn't matter, like, Kimberly was white. I thought Kimberly was pretty as hell. Didn't care about skin color. Didn't matter to me. I don't matter to me now. I can care less. I thought it was a funny show, and it's kind of like, damn, y'all, it's a show, y'all. You have that much hate that you should be hugging that man. You should be hugging those kids. I'm like, what happens if they hug? Like, you think something's gonna happen? Like, the skin's gonna rub off on you? Oh my god, like what? That doesn't make any sense to me. But I understand it, and it goes on to this day. Not as bad, but it does. But I never thought about that at all. You know what I mean? I just liked it. It was just funny. Who's these kids? They're like me. They're funny. They make people laugh. And stuff like that's what I always thought about. So, but like I said, I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised that happened. You know what I mean? That's just the ignorance of people who just, they're stupid. What are you gonna do? I got a Biggie double bubble before I let everybody go. Biggie's son alleges his grandmother's will was altered before her death. Christopher Wallace Jr., the son of Notorious B.I.G., believes believes the will his grandmother Viola Wallace left behind was altered just a few weeks before she died. Now he's asking a judge to intervene. According to the report on Wednesday, August 20th, C.J. Wallace filed legal documents regarding a suspicious amendment that was made to his grandmother's will in the weeks before she passed away in February 2025. Wallace claims his sister Tiana, and her brother were originally meant to inherit some of their grandmother's priceless possessions, including jewelry, her fur collection, music awards given to Biggie, a Mercedes-Benz SUV, a property in Jamaica when she created her will in 2020. Violetta Wallace controlled the estate of her late son with his widow, Faith Evans, following the hypnotized rapper's death in 1997. The original version of Violetta's will reportedly declared that her 50% stake in the company that manages Biggie estate would go to her foundation. C.J. Wallace alleges that his grandmother signed an amendment 15 days before her death that essentially cut the grandchildren out of her will and made Wayne Barrow the vice chairman of the Christopher Wallace Memorial Foundation, the executor of his father's estate. C.J. Wallace maintains that his grandmother was in very poor health in her final days and was mostly confined to her bed. He said the signatures on the paperwork for the amendment appear facially inconsistent. And should be voided. He also wants Barrow removed as executor of the estate. Wallace filed his claim amid Barrow's recent victory in court after he sued Evans for access to Violetta's portion of her son's estate. Wallace claim come a year after his grandmother reportedly sold 50% of Biggie's catalogs to music publishers Primary Wave. The price tag wasn't received at the time, but Barrow approved the sale. "We're not here to chase checks," Barrow said at the time. Violetta trusted no one. With everything she went through, she wasn't going to allow her or grandkids to be in a position where what Biggie legacy wasn't beneficial to them. As of this report, Barrow nor Wallace has spoken publicly about the new update in their legal battle. It goes again, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, paperwork. That's what it comes down to. It's paperwork. If the paperwork shows dates and times and inaccuracy, then that can work. So I don't know. It's tricky. He's saying they doctored it up and they changed it, but I don't know if he has proof of that. Unless he has the original one, it's hard to. I don't know. It's hard to say though. Again, it's paperwork. You know what I mean? He said a few days before something was changed. Now, unless he has the original one, I don't know if there's any proof of that. If he can show proof of that. You know what I mean? Like if he showed like this, look, this is the original one that my grandmother made. This has changed. You know what I mean? Like, how would we be able to show proof of that if I read that correctly? He said it's facially inconsistent. It said facially, that's what it said. And I guess facially, looking at it like, that doesn't make sense. But if you have the original one, and you may have to do a side-by-side thing, I don't know. But a lot of these lawsuits, it comes down to, you know, facts, something written down. You know what I mean? A lot of stuff. I don't know. That's a tricky one. That is a very, very tricky one. That's a very tricky one. I don't know. Anyway, we have to find out when that happens. Excuse me. My cell phone went off a little bit, so I apologize about that. I don't know. Paperwork. All these lawsuits is paperwork. That's what it comes down to. That's what it comes down to. Paperwork. All right. Last one. This is it's a bit of a biggie double bubble. Hey, what's on my mouse? All right. Let's see. Sorry. I'm trying to click here. Let's see what we got. All right. Well, this is kind of a bit of a fun one. Darius Rucker has hilarious reaction to Biggie's Hootie and the Blowfish shout out and no money, no problem. In the Monday, August 19th Instagram reel, the Hootie and Blowfish frontman appeared to be on a photo shoot where Biggie's 1997 hit "More Money, More Problems" could be heard in the background. As Rucker 60 is posing in a navy button-down shirt with his guitar, he can be heard telling someone off camera, "Y'all know we got a shout out on the song, right?" The Hold My Hand artist was referring to the lyric, "Stay humble, stay low, blow like Hootie, blow up like Hootie and the Blowfish, stay humble, stay low," Rucker adds. He then notes that that's the one. One of his claims to fame is that shout out, which I do remember. Blow like Hootie. This first record is one of my favorite records of all time. This record came out, I heard it driving down the road, and I had to pull over to the side, said Ruckers. The wagon wheel performer freaked out at the time. I went to the record store to get the CD single. I went, "Oh my God," he said Hootie and ran to the boys. Never that's got to be cool. So he continued in the 2015 interview. Rucker opened up about how the band ended up getting their name checked on Biggie's track. Rucker recalled meeting Notorious B.I.G. real name Christopher Wallace at the Grammys. He's rolling through and some really hot girl walks by and one of his boys was like, "I'll pay her," just as a joke. I go, "Man, I'm not paying for it," he said at the time. Rucker added, "We laughed and then his next record he got a line that says, 'Stay humble, stay low, blow like Hootie, true pimp, N-word, spend no dough on the booty,' great line." Hootie and Blowfish credited Mace, who raps the verse, and Mace gave us props. He said Ruckers. That's crazy. I didn't know that. I love hearing little stories like that. That is real cool. And I remember that line. I always thought that was kind of, shout out to, I like Hootie and Blowfish. I love all types of music. I wish I could still play music on the show, but licensing won't allow me. That is a dope story. I didn't know that's where that line came from. He said, "I'll pay for that." And he went, "I wouldn't." And then Mace was like, wrote a line, you know what I mean? Some pimp N-word stuff. Wouldn't pay for that. Wouldn't pay for it either. Shit, I'm famous. I'll pay for that. I'm just saying, I agree. But that's a cool story. I figured I would share and end the show with that little tidbit there. And now I might go listen to "More Money, More Problems" just for that line, because now that song is in my head. I might go play it because I can't play here on the show. I have to play it off the show and play it just to hear that line, because now I can hear "No one for me." It's all in my head now, and I can see the video and all that stuff. So I definitely want to do that. But like I said, going back in trigger with the Biggie thing, and I feel as though I ran to that kind of fast. I think at the end of the day, they have to get paperwork, and that's the key thing to it. It has to get paperwork. And it's sticking in my mind where I'm a little lost where he said she changed it. But how do you know who was able to get next to her? If she's that sick, she gotta have a caretaker. Maybe her caretaker's like, yo, Barrow showed up, he did this. I don't know. It's a sticky thing. And like I said, I'm not a lawyer, but I would think with common sense, when you're dealing with something with contracts and wills and stuff that's written on paper, you should, and there should be an original somewhere to contrast whatever the new document has said or is saying at the end of the day. So we'll find out as time goes on. So ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, I'll let you go. I talked to you long enough. Thank you for this week's episode. Appreciate the love as always. Keep listening. Keep watching. I got more stuff coming your way. I'm working very, very hard behind the scenes for you guys to bring something special and continue to grow Who is Kyle Graham podcast. So I thank you so much. Get at me. Spread the word. We're growing. I'm excited for the plans and ideas I have for the show and this great journey that you are a part of. And I say this is all for you guys. I love doing this show. I love being able to talk to you and you guys are reacting in some shape or form. And I love it. I appreciate you guys. So as always, stay focused. Don't let the bullshit get to you. And just take it day by day. Stay prayed up. Believe whatever higher power you believe in. It'll work out. It will. And there's help out there for you guys who needs it. And I hope me doing this show weekly and so forth will help you just get you off your problems and make you laugh and so forth. If you miss any shows in the past, go into the archives or any other platform. Press the subscribe button on any platform to Spotify, YouTube, Amazon, Apple, Deezer, iHeart. Who is Kyle Graham Podcast.riverside.com. Hit the subscribe button, comment, get at me on Instagram, get at me on Facebook, email me at who'skylegraham@gmail. Thank you so much. Have a great week. Lord willing, I will see you next week. Somebody's trying to text me. I'll see you next week. Thank you. I'm out. Peace. Another KG John Productions.